So we'll start off this lesson by loading in the elliptical arch generic family and placing that. We'll have a little bit of a look around and see how that works with its type and type properties. And then what we'll do is we'll create that arched sweep that goes around that opening. And this could be for a door or a window, any way you want it. So we'll start by loading in a component. So I'm going to go home and I'm going to say component and I'm going to say place a component. From there, I'm going to go straight over to load. It'll refer or defer to the last in place or component that you have in the project. So I'm just going to go straight to load and say load. Now, the interesting thing here is that even though it is a generic model as far as the category goes, it's stored under doors. So there's a little bit of a tricky thing there with the installed version of Revit. Under doors, you would think these would all be under the door category once it gets loaded, but it's not. This guy right here, opening elliptical, okay, and opening cased, they are stored under doors, but you'll notice when they get brought in, they get filed here under generic models instead of under doors where you might expect it. So opening elliptical arched, we'll load that in. You can see it has an arch on the top. We can make that arch elliptical or we can actually make it round. Okay, so we hit open on that, brings that in, and then we can place it. We can place it in plan or we can place it in elevation. So if I just click up in here, it places one in there. Okay, and I'm just going to hit escape on the keyboard. So let's just stop and have a look at this guy right off the bat. Okay, first of all, if we click on it, it says generic model. If you click on that guy, you actually say edit family and open up that family. Okay, what it is there's just a prop wall and there's an object in here, right here, which is a cut opening. Okay, and if you click on there and you say edit the sketch, there's the sketch of that, and this is the spring offset property or parameter right here that we're going to use. So if you open up this elliptical arch opening, this is what the family looks like. I'm just going to hit exit on that. I don't want to edit it, and that's what's removing the material from the wall. And I'm just going to actually go up here and say close that off. I don't want to edit that family. I always open up my families to see what's there to start with. Okay, so now just dealing with this arched opening. Okay, if you hover over here, if you can't grab it, you have to use your tab key. Okay, grab that arched opening and it says it's a 36 by 84. Okay, I'm once again just going to hit modify and stop. Now, if you go down here, look, under generic models, that's where it got placed, not indoors. Okay, so if you hover over this and you read down here on your status bar, it says it's a generic model, which is the category, and it's an opening elliptical arch, 36 by 84. Okay, so that's the type. So if I click on it, there's the type. Okay, and if I go into here, I can see that there's the family and these are the different types. So I can just click on here and hit apply, and I can change that to a different type and it'll resize itself, or I can go to my type selector and I can pick on here and I can change that all I want. Okay, so now what I can do is I can say, okay, that's a 36 by 80. What I'm going to do is go edit type. Okay, I'll say duplicate and I'm going to say 36 by 80, and then the third number is going to be by 18 inches, which is that Springer height, which is if you make this half of this, okay, the radius, okay, of the width, okay, the radius of the top, it'll make it round. So I hit OK, and that gives me a new type in here, and now I go to the spring offset and I change this to say 1 foot 6 or 18 inches. Can click out anywhere and then hit apply and hit OK, and what it's going to do, click out, is it's going to round that. But you want to create a new type probably to do that. You don't have to. I could just go into any one of these guys by picking on here and going into here, and I can pick any one of these and just go change this number, but I would like to leave the original, the elliptical, and then duplicate a new one to change that number and make it round. So if you make the spring offset half of the width, it'll come out round. Okay, cancel out of that. Cancel, hit escape. Now, if you take this guy, oh, I grabbed the wall. You have to hover, tab to select it. If you go shift click arrow key, you can move that down. If you move it down far enough, it just forms like a door. Okay, even if you go way down, you want a little kind of doghouse door, you could click out and you could actually do something like that. So if the height of it, okay, which is the 80 inches, falls within the wall itself, I'm using my shift arrow key, then it'll cut a hole more like a window. Okay, so basically if we click on here and we go to the properties, we have the width, we have the height, and then we have that spring offset, which is that vertical rise built onto there. Okay, so that's kind of the initial get that elliptical arch family in and how it behaves and how the type properties work. In our next lesson, we'll come back and start to create the sweep that will go around here with a profile, and we'll show you a neat little trick on how to change the actual type parameters of the opening and then have the in-place family adapt to that in our next lesson.